Rick Marks here. Welcome to another episode. I want to expand on being a better you, and I've realised through parenting, and this is something I'm helping my kids to do, is to slow down their thinking, to think before they act, think before they talk, just to think before anything. And I've been trying to help them to understand that only you are responsible for what you choose to do. Now, I can't change the world, you can't change the world, you can't change how others treat you, there's so much within that, but what you can change is how you respond, how you react. Do you think before you say something, which can then end up meaning you've got to backpedal, or you've got to then do damage control? I did a course, Dare to Lead, and it was very eye-opening, and I'm going to rehash some of the content, because there's a lot about self-awareness, and I think that's probably today's biggest problem is people are not self-aware. They're not aware of how they can improve. They're not even aware of themselves or what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they can be better. You know, I think we live in a world now where we all just go on autopilot. We live in this virtual reality, essentially. And I've noticed it between generations as well, is probably the biggest part. So I was born in 87, so I was born and technology came in. So there's a segment of my life which was analog. And for me, I know there is a world outside my phone, the internet, the virtual realities. I don't often see the same of the generations following, where they were born and tech was in their world. I grew up at the tail end, essentially, of probably what the Gen X, one house phone, 5 TV channels. Our TV, the time you used to have to get up and go and actually like push the button to change it, tuning it, you had to tune it across the, with knobs, set it so no one would touch the hub behind the little panel. The volume was a slider. Now that was the world that I started out in, and then we got a VCR and had to work out how to modify that into it. So technology has evolved, and I've known there is a world without technology. And so even when it comes to things about sharing personal stuff, I'm very mindful of the fact that the digital world out there is not real. It's more often than not, it's the photo book. It's people's photo album, all their great memories, all their happy joys. It's not reality. There is the other side of life, which you don't see in people's photo albums. You don't see it in any of the highlight reels, because we don't want to shine light on the negative times. And that's fine, but you've got to know that that's the case. And I think that there's a lot of kids and a lot of people today that were on the next generation where they were born and we had cell phones. Now, I remember my dad's cell phone was like a car battery in size, and it had a handle, it had a horn, and it sat in the car. It was an analog network. Everything was programmed, and that was expensive to use. So it was really only there for emergency purposes. And as things evolved, then it became the handheld, and it was massive. And slowly technology got smaller and smaller, and then now it started going the other way, and then we've started getting bigger and bigger again because we're getting bigger screens. But we then changed over to digital. See, so there's been these progressions along the way, but reality has never changed. And I think it's understanding, and I've been learning this through the book I'm reading in terms of the digital minimalist. You need to look at tech and work out what the purpose it serves. And there's many people in my generation that are not on like Facebook, they're not on LinkedIn, they're not on any of the socials, because they have no desire or interest. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to serve a purpose for them. My wife and myself, we pretty much use these platforms more from a business, because we're a bit of entrepreneurs. We're generally promoting stuff, or we don't really share a lot of our personal stuff on these channels, because it's not there for us in that way, and that's how this technology doesn't serve us. Marketplace, huge one for my wife. She flips furniture, so she's you know, buying and selling furniture on there. So the platform needs to be there and it needs to work for her. But again, the tech works for you, not the tech getting out of control. And this is where that mindless scrolling on your phone, getting caught in the loophole. Now, again, playing a game on your phone, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's got intention behind it. So I think for many of us, we need to sometimes take that breather. And as I've mentioned previously, I've started swimming, and it's like doing that. You've got to take your breath. And I think often we don't take that breath anymore, or it's a long time between our next breath. So I guess my challenge is to you guys is to actually think about what does the app serve? What does the tech serve? What purpose do these things have in your life? Do you need them? If you need them, that's fine. But more often than not, it's not actually serving a purpose, and it ends up becoming unhealthy for us because we get caught in these time warps like TikTok. I had it for a very small period of time and got rid of it because I would start scrolling and an hour would go past, 2 hours would go past, and like it felt like 5 minutes. And I was like, this is just chewing my life away, watching mind-numbing videos, which had served no purpose for me gaining anything from it. Now, there are people out there, and that's fantastic, they make money and whatnot from their TikToks, and there are people who have no interest in becoming the better them. But again, they're not generally going to be probably watching these. So if you're interested in being a better you and thinking about things and doing things with intent, challenge yourself to that. You don't have to necessarily, you know, take the break. You don't have to, you know, go off tech and starve yourself for the month. There are people who do that, and hats off to them, that works for them. You need to work out how you can redefine the boundaries, and I guess that's the biggest problem I think with the technology these days is boundaries. No one has them anymore, and some of the stuff I see younger generations share on social media, I'm like this is airing your dirty laundry. It's not the place, you know. I don't need to know about all that information. I don't need to know those things, and often that can end up leading to people unfollowing because I don't need to see what's going on at that level. Again, it's the photo album. It's there to share memories. It's there to be part of life with people, but some people take it a little bit too far, I feel, and they overshare, and that's fine. It's no different to at a pub. Somebody might overshare and you go, oh, okay, pump the brakes. So yeah, review, analyze, and work out what does tech serve. And then maybe if you do need to take a break, take a break. There's no harm in slowing things down. There's no, you know, loss there. I've even culled back a whole heap of apps on my phone to reduce that, and yes, I get my screen time stats, and it came back and it said I've down to 59% from last week to the week before. So last week I was down, so I'm using my phone 50% less than I was the week before. So you got to find something else to do. Get swimming, get active, get outdoors. Think back to when we were a kid. That's really what I've started doing. I'm going, how did I get over boredom? How did I occupy time when I was a kid? Because really the rules haven't changed. Yes, you go to work, but you went to school. You've got a house to look after now that you didn't have when you were a kid, but that's just another part of the equation. So work out what works for you and review it. And I've been trying to encourage and set the example for my kids to show them that you don't need the tech in your life. You don't need to be tethered to your phone all the time. You can have a break. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Monday to Friday, 9 AM, I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me on the next video. Bye.